Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Food Chain TV. So you went to the grocery store and got yourself a nice Boston butt. No. Actually, this here is the Boston butt. Boston butt, butt roast, pork shoulder, they're actually all the same thing. They come from the shoulder. So why do they call it butt when it's actually the shoulder? I don't know. Maybe it was the same guy that invented the name for pineapple.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In any case, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make the most succulent, the most tender, juicy, and flavorful roast you've ever made with a piece of pork. Alright, so let's get right into this recipe. Okay, so I have a 9-pound piece of shoulder roast in my roasting pan. On the bottom, I have a bunch of carrots and a little bit of onions. And you see that I've poked these holes here, and that's because I'm going to put a garlic clove in each hole. Okay, so you take a serrated knife like this and just stab it once and then stab it across, so you make like a little cross, and then you just stick your finger in it, make a hole. Pretty easy. There you go. Alright, I got my garlic cloves, and now each hole is going to get a garlic clove. Okay, so you just put one in each hole, just push it in there, and what's going to happen is throughout the whole roasting process of this pork, the garlic is also going to roast. Okay, so you're going to end up with this beautifully flavored pork that has roasted garlic inside of it. Alright, putting in my garlic, stick it in there. And this is kind of therapeutic, you know, sticking garlic in the holes. I actually enjoy doing this. Now, the seasoning for this is so simple. I'm just going to take some brown mustard, I'm going to slather it all over the top, and then I'm going to stick some spices on top of the mustard. Now you can use any spice mixture that you want, but I love Montreal Steak spice for this because it has that coarse pepper, it has even more garlic, it has nice coarse salt. Okay, so I'm just going to shake a whole bunch of this all over the pork, get it nice and covered. Alright, next up I want to put about an inch of liquid in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to use some red wine. Now if you don't like to use red wine or you don't have red wine, you can use beef stock would be the next best thing, and even if you're in a pinch, you can do some chicken stock, okay? But just make sure that there is an inch of liquid at the bottom of the pan, and that's going to add moisture to this. It'll prevent it from drying out, and this will become the sauce because it's going to mix with all the spices. It's going to mix with the garlic, with the essence of the vegetables, and it's just going to be a beautiful thing. Okay, now we can cook this two different ways, okay? We can do it without a meat thermometer, or we can do it with a meat thermometer like this. Okay, so I'm going to use a meat thermometer, and I'm going to monitor the temperature. But if you don't have a meat thermometer, then what you can do is just cook it by time. And I can tell you that for 9 pounds, this took 6.5 hours in my oven at 250 degrees. But I want to cook it at a very exact temperature. I want to bring this meat up to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, and my meat probe will tell me exactly when that happens. So this area right here actually has the shoulder blade in it. There's a bone. And this area here is all meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my probe in the middle of the meaty part of the pork, and that's going to ensure that it gives me a really good reading. All right, so I'm going to put that in there, make sure that most of that probe is in the middle of the meaty part, and that way it's going to give me an exact reading, and it'll let me know exactly when the middle of this roast hits 205 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's when I'm going to stop cooking it. I'm going to take it out of the oven and let it rest for 20 minutes until I dig in. So just to recap, if you don't have a meat thermometer, you're going to cook a 9-pound roast at 250 degrees, and it's going to take you about 7 to 8 hours. So my recommendation is that you go out there and you buy yourself a meat probe. I have the link in the description of this video. Make sure you go on Amazon and you buy one. If you're roasting meats, it just makes your life so much easier. I mean, why do you want to guess when you can know the exact temperature and the exact time that that temperature has been reached? Get yourselves a meat probe. They're cheap, and I promise you when you're roasting things, you will actually use them. I use this thing all the time. Okay, so now it's 6.5 hours later. You can see on the left side of my thermometer, the meat is at 204 degrees. It's just about to hit 205. And there it goes. No guessing. It's 205 degrees. The roast is ready to come out of the oven. All right, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for, 6.5 hours later, perfectly cooked, just out of the oven. Look how beautiful this thing is. Now, I want you to notice something, that all the spices on top, none of them burned because we cooked it low and slow. Okay, so this thing braised in its own natural fats, its own natural juices. We have the bottom there with that beautiful sauce made of meat drippings, pork fat, red wine, all those vegetables, and the meat itself is just full of these beautifully roasted pieces of garlic. I mean, I wish you had taste vision. And this might be the most difficult part, but right now we just gotta let it rest for about 20 minutes, half an hour before we start carving into it. All right, 20 minutes has passed. It is now legal to get into this pork. And before I do that, I just want to mention this is one of my favorite recipes because this was my dad's signature recipe. And anytime that we had a family gathering or he wanted to impress the neighbors or just, get friends and family together, this is what my dad would make. He would take all day cooking it. He was so proud of it. And so this always brings me good memories of my dad. And so this is Grandpa Gilbert's famous pork roast. And here you go. The recipe is now available for everybody online. Okay, I'm going to take some of these garlic cloves off and just start cutting into it. Now, one of the first things that you're going to notice, aside from the amazing aroma, because like your neighbors 3 houses down will notice, is how soft and tender the meat is. Pork butt is a cheap cut of meat, but if you take the time to cook it properly, it's just one of the best pieces of meat and so flavorful. Check this out. This thing is like, I cannot wait to dig into this, okay? Perfect for a beautiful mashed potato dinner, just like a traditional roast pork dinner. Is there anything better? Once you guys try this recipe yourselves, I think you'll agree with me. Look how soft and juicy this meat is. It just falls apart. You can just take it apart with your hands if it wasn't so hot. I love that pork shoulder roast has that nice thick cap of fat on top of it, and that fat just melts through the meat and just tenderizes everything. It's just so moist and juicy. Look at this thing. Now, if you need an indication that you cooked it long enough, is you should be able to take that shoulder blade bone and get the meat right off of it really easily, and that bone should just come right out. So this is how we like to serve it here at home, just a casual Friday night dinner. Put a nice little glob of mashed potato in the middle of the plate, make a little volcano in the middle, because we're going to fill that up with pork. Put some of these nice juicy slices in there. Notice all that nice garlic in the pork. I love it. Everybody loves a prime rib dinner, but, I think pork shoulder is overlooked. Yes, it does take a long time to cook, but the quality of meat you get at the end, it's just so flavorful and juicy that I think that something like this, I'd probably rather have this than a prime rib, like a beef prime rib dinner. Okay, now we put some of these nice braised carrots on there. And let's finish it off with some sauce. Now, remember that red wine we put in there? It mixed with everything and it made the most amazing sauce. Okay, now you can take the time to thicken the sauce, but we like it wet just like this. Okay, put some of that sauce all over the pork. It'll go into the mashed potatoes. Now this is an absolutely amazing pork dinner, and let me tell you how much we enjoyed this. It was just fabulous. All right, guys, well, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed watching this and that you're going to go out there and get yourselves pork shoulder roast. They're like $1.97 a pound, and I hope that you make this for your family so that you can experience the joy and happiness that we experience whenever we make this. So thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your subscriptions help me make more videos like these just for you. All right, until next time, I'm going to go eat some pork.